It's Gerald Ballantyne, and we are on video 78. Nearly heading towards 100 done. And so far, it's been quite good fun. Right, yesterday I mentioned that I wanted to talk about something. It might be a little bit of a long video. I'm going to read. I'm going to read something, but before I go any further, one of the things I used to do when, and some of you may have already done this. There's nothing wrong with reading something off the screen. Okay. If you're on stage, for example, and you maybe got, I don't know, 2,000, 5,000, 15,000 people looking at you, and you've been told you've got a spot of about 5 minutes. 5 minutes on stage is a very long time. Try it. Because I've done it with 2,000 people. What I'm trying to say is, when you've got something to say, it does help with props. Actually, sometimes I did have some props, but anyway, you wouldn't have what I would call, say, sort of, well, you can, but a bunch of cards in your hands, because that's probably a bit difficult doing this all the time. So you try and memorize things, okay, which is probably a little better. And of course, if something's happened to you that you want to pass on, then that experience is already in your head, so you can talk about it easily. But if you've chosen something, then you'll try and probably remember it all is probably a bit more difficult. And that's why sometimes you'll see in front of stages like black boxes, but actually what's going on is, from the old days, it would have been somebody in a box with a little sign card. But today's technology, now there's screens and with rolling scripts and things like that on them. So I make no excuses here to reading something off a Word document that I pasted from an email I received. And this is my, what I'm trying to say is, I totally agree with what this person has said, that if you want to build an online business, you are going to have to do 2 things. In fact, 3 things. You're going to have to learn email marketing. Number 2, video marketing. Okay. Number 3, advertising. Okay. Now, the way it's going to come out here on paper, what I'm going to read, there's going to be about 6 strategies on this, and I'm going to read it pretty much word for word, because I have memorized it, and I had no intention of memorizing it, because I don't have to memorize it. I can read it. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go through this, and we'll take it from there. So let's pull it up. We'll go straight into this. Title. So let's talk about those 6 strategies. If your goal is to make 6 figures, now a lot of people would be just happy just to get 4 figures per month, but some people can't even do that. Anyway, if your goal is to make 6 figures, that means your goal is to make over $100,000 in revenue per year. Obviously, 7 figures is anything over $1 million. And 8 figures is over $10 million in revenue per year. Most entrepreneurs and people who start a business will never even make it to the 6 figures, let alone the 7 figures. And getting into 8 figures is very difficult. Right, and as you go through each level, you'll learn that a very different skill set and mentality is needed. And I'm going to stop right there for a minute, because people will come online. If you don't do any advertising and sort of tongue-in-cheek and just, you know, pass your link on to someone else and somebody else passes a link on, you're not really an entrepreneur, are you? You're just a market sharer. Now, people will go, stop calling themselves entrepreneurs, because if you're not doing the work behind the scene, you're not an entrepreneur at all. You're just passing on a link. So you are a market sharer. Remove entrepreneur from your mind, because you're not. Okay? If you learn, for example, Instagram advertising, okay, you're learning a skill that will pay you. Now you can start talking yourself as an entrepreneur, because you're on that ladder. Okay. The things you do to get 6 figures are very different than what you do to get 7 figures. Now you've mastered, you've done the Instagram, you've learned that, and now you're earning $1,000 per month. Now you need to step it up to $2,000 a month. So what you going to do? Learn another form of advertising? Yes, why not? Just go Facebook advertising, stage 2. But this is not the strategies I'm talking about. All right, let's carry on. In fact, if you keep doing what you did to get to 6 figures, you're never getting to 7 figures. You have to change your role in each level. Otherwise, you hit a ceiling and you won't scale. It's quite right. I mean, today, I can, I think most of us can drive a mechanical car, right? But now the electronic cars are coming out with electronic screens where you set things all up and all sorts of things like you've got to relearn the car. You know the basics. You've got the wheel there, you've probably got the accelerator and the brake, and the gear lever where it's auto, but the technology becomes different. So you have to relearn the car. Most entrepreneurs will hit the ceiling that matches their degree of competence. So if someone can't get to 10,000 per year and they've been in business for 10 years, that means they still don't have the skills, knowledge, or the ability to grow a business over $100,000. It really makes sense, doesn't it? Some people learn quickly and others take longer. Many never learn, and it takes all of us different amounts of time. This person involved here says he was not a fast learner in the very beginning. It took him close to 3 years to get to his first 6-figure year, and that was working very, very hard. Well, that's quite something. I mean, there's a lot of us out there who've been online longer and still haven't made anything. Excuse me. In 2009 and 2010, he wasn't even coming close to doing 6 figures. In fact, in 2009, he didn't even make 5 figures. So he was learning all the time. He was learning all sorts of things about internet marketing. Anyway, he's made a list. So here are the 6 strategies to get into the 7-figure club. Okay. Now remember, you're not going to be jumping straight into the 7-figure club, but the actions you take on in regards to learning what I said about email marketing, setting that all up, your video marketing, you can do video marketing. Okay, there's no excuse for it. I've got to throw this in. People make so many excuses to stop themselves from earning money. It's nuts. Don't know why you do it. Anyway, sorry, just throwing myself out there. Oh, right, advertising. So video marketing, email marketing, and get into that advertising. Advertising is so important. Anyway, right. The first major thing you should do is to build your own list of email subscribers. Most people I know who've made at least six figures or over $1 million online all have their own list, and they're all branded as the guru. Okay, that's like me. I'm working on the same lines. I'm doing my advertising, I'm doing my video marketing, I've got my Aweber set up, I've got emails sitting there waiting for anybody who pushes a button, and I'm going to get a lot of responses. So I'm working on it. And if I'm working on it, what's going to happen? If you want to do 7 figures, you really need to have the right positioning. That means you need to build your own brand. I've done that. I've branded myself. I've got a brand now, which actually took me 2 years to make a decision on. Anyway, that got sorted. And I have a blog, which is also, in my eyes, very important, because when it comes to links and all sorts of stuff, in Google and spam and what people think is wrong and right. Great to have a blog where you can send everybody a link to your blog and your information is there. Nothing can be, shall we say, damned on the internet by anybody. Right. That means you need to build your own brand, and you need to build your own influence. You need to build an enormous audience. But more importantly, an enormous responsive audience. Otherwise, you don't make any money, do you? When you send out an email promoting a webinar, you'll need to get a lot of people there and influence a lot of people. And that's usually something you have to build up over time. For him, it took 3 to 4 years to build 100,000 subscribers on his first list. That's because in his first few years, he was starting out from scratch and knew nothing. Just accept the fact that it takes time to learn new skills, and the first skill you need is building a list of subscribers. There you go, number 1. Hope you've got your pen and paper out. Get good at influencing other people. Well, how many of you out there are taking your links and you're trying to influence people to like what you've sent, and they click on the link and go and have a look what it is? And by the way, here's a secret. I love this secret. I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of thirst going on here. And it is so right, and I've changed my tactics. Did you know that if you send people to a video like a webinar, which can be anything from an hour to 2 hours or 3 hours, right? Or a long video promotion which tells virtually everything about the company and blah blah, okay, or to a web page where everything is on it, you have just killed your opportunity to have somebody arrive on your email subscriber list. It is a huge mistake to send people to full-on websites, full-on webinars, and full-on video presentations. You need to learn about catching the audience attention. Okay. Now I'm going to use a ludicrous one because it's absolutely daft. Learn how to make $10,000 within the week. Find out here. People put their email in. They click it. Boom. You've got their email. What's going to happen after that email? The responder series starts coming in. Okay. They're going to keep coming into that customer now. As long as they accept the email from you, of course. Got to keep it all legal. And they'll start getting influenced by whatever's probably in your email follow-up. It should be about 8 to 10 or even 20 emails. Because if people just see all the information there straight in front of them, the first thing is going to happen is called security. Security? Boom. Defense. Right, I've seen all the information. I'll come back to that later. Never will. But I'll come back to it later in the book market. Never they will. You might see it in a year's time. You might get lucky. Or they'll go, nah, maybe not now. And just click off and gone. There's so many scenarios where you can lose that person. Don't do it. Anyway, let's carry on with this. For example, if you're doing a webinar or even if you're writing emails, you need to know how to persuade someone and help them see that taking action on buying your course service will help them. And he puts in a warning, it's not easy. You just can't learn these skills overnight, and you can't learn it in your first few weeks or even your first few months. It can take literally years to get a really good start and make any money. Now, here's another secret. So far, I'm already getting a little bit concerned about whether I want to actually look at this guy's business, right? Okay, I'm just using it as a scenario. But I know what's going on here. And here's something else. If the business you're in does not have any marketing tools to follow up, to feed the person who looked at your business, then you've lost it, because you are out on your own. And if you're out on your own and you don't get much response, then you spend $20, you'll dump it and you'll move on to the next shiny thing. So look for a proper business, okay? Look for a proper one. Marketing tools and everything else. Right, now I would bet if you gathered together a group of 10,000 affiliates picked randomly from our industry, you could count on one hand the number who've made over 10 million in commissions with all their affiliate programs combined. Nevertheless, a lot of people come into this industry because that's exactly what they want. They want millions of dollars overnight. And of course, he doesn't blame them, and nor do I. I didn't expect millions. A few grand would be very nice. 10,000 a month would be very nice. But getting into the 7-figure club is difficult, and I never want to make it seem like it's easy, or you could do it overnight, because it's just not that easy. Step 3, stay consistent and persistent. I'm on video 78. There's a clue. Being consistent and persistent means you just can't send a few emails this week and then forget to email for 2 weeks. No, of course not. You know, you may have your responder service going and all that, but you're going to have people who are going to stay with you, and you need to communicate with them every day. Okay? Every day. Doesn't hurt to write a quick email and or even write your own little email series. Well, no, not even that. No. Write your own email so people can actually respond back to you as well. Keep we'll call them live emails. You need to be involved in your business every single day. Well, I've already said that. For example, one of the top affiliates I know is a guy who crossed over $2 million in commissions, and he is religious about sending his emails every single day. He doesn't go to sleep without sending an email. You know, if you think about it, if you're earning big money, right, and you get up and you have your breakfast in the morning, you type yourself an email to 100,000 subscribers. How long does that take? Let's say max 15 minutes, okay? Now, where are you going to? You're going to catch a plane in New York and off to Paris to buy some wine? Pretty cool myself, ain't it? Anyway, all right. I didn't realise this was coming up. Even when he's travelling all around the world and he's on planes all day long, he will be the last person to board the plane because he's quickly typing his email. He understands this powerful concept, and he's got to send an email every single day. You must nurture your list and really build a strong relationship with them over time. You have to be someone who people want to follow. And that is so right. It is so right. And that takes time to build. It takes years to build up a really good reputation where people do want to follow you. And if you're successful, people look upon, you know, other people who are successful as mentors and leaders and coaches. And if you're successful and they see that, aren't they going to copy you? For example, let's say I wanted to start a new affiliate program from scratch. I'm pretty confident that I can make millions of dollars in any other program within a matter of months. And here we go, because I've built a list of people who would follow me. There you go. Let's scroll down a little bit. You can do the same thing. You can build up a strong following of subscribers, but again, it's going to take time. And you've got to be consistent and persistent. This means constantly communicating with your audience. Right, step 4. Now we're going to get a little bit tough. Okay? And if none of you have made a video, then this is going to be very hard. So you're already, I hope I'm actually putting a lot of you off, because in a way, you're learning a lesson here that your time online and just, you know, joining programs and losing money and going on to the next one, you know, it's really coming to an end, isn't it? You know, sort of give up and get a part-time job at the supermarket, because you've really got to do this stuff. Okay? And I'm not putting any punches with you guys. You won't make money on the internet. Do the work. If you want to get to that level where you are doing over $1 million a year, it would help you enormously if you could add live events into what you do. Okay? And it would. There's nothing wrong if you could, you know, you've got a lot of followers. Let's say you've got a lot of followers around the world, but you've only got maybe 2,000 in the UK, right? But for 2,000, that's 2,000 people who could fill a room in a big hotel or some hall somewhere, where you could gather the people you already know. You're not a stranger to anybody, okay? And you do a live event. It can't be really scary when you already know the people you're working with. When you host a live event, it's so much more than just attending a webinar, because you're actually coming to a certain place in person where you're able to stand up there on the stage and influence people right there on the stage. Learning how to do live events, if you do it right, can create a rush of buyers better than any other selling environment. That's quite right. I've been to many scenarios like this. At the back of the hall, there's all the swag and the DVDs and the posters and all sorts of paraphernalia, or you know, books by the person who's on stage. It's all there, right? And also the courses are there. It's all laid out. You know, you go to a webinar, you can walk out $500,000 richer. Brilliant. Promoting events is all about getting people to actually show up, and then it's all about learning how to sell from the stage. You need to be passionate about what you're offering so the audience relates to you and gets excited. But then you need to learn how to sell. That's an entirely different skill to learn. Right, step 5. Get good at video marketing. You need to be doing video marketing. I don't think anyone's got to $1 million without posting videos of themselves online to connect and influence their audience. Well, I would say that before the internet came along, that video marketing then, with no way to disperse it, would be not quite correct. So I mean, we're talking here to a person who's probably born into the internet, whereas before it would be more of a hard sell, like the hotel meetings and things like that. You could probably produce CDs and DVDs and send them out to interested persons and things like that. But who has the camera equipment and the money to afford that kind of thing anyway. So that's a bit different. But today, no way. We've got cameras right in front of us and we can record. No excuse. Right. Because in order to motivate people, persuade people and influence people, there needs to be this almost face-to-face communication. And there's no better way to do that than with a video. In a video you can't see them, but they can definitely see you. And it plays a huge part making the sale. Again, I believe there's absolutely no way to get to 1 million without having some videos out there. In today's environment, I would agree now. Number 6, find a mentor. I'm right here. You're looking at one. Here's the final thing I want to talk to you about today. Every single person who makes it to 8 figures, not just online, but business in general, they all start out just like you. I'm assuming most people reading this are new, or they'll struggle to grow their business or wanting to grow their business into 6 figures or 7 figures. Everyone starts out without knowing anything about online marketing. But all these skills can be learned. It just takes time and it takes persistence. You should take inspiration from knowing that everyone else who's done it started right from where you are. And it's possible for you too. Okay, now for my first 3 years here and 4 years online, I wasn't doing half the stuff on here. I was a link pusher too, but I've proved 1,000 times how it doesn't work. Okay, you know that saying, don't you, Mr. Edison? Therefore, if one human being can accomplish something, clearly there's a series of steps they took in order to accomplish that goal, and it's humanly possible that you can do it too. As long as you find out what those steps are through either asking them or learning from their past mistakes, or learning from different mentors and all their past mistakes, then you can replicate their steps and you can replicate their success. The success he's had in this industry, he has to say, because of me, I thought he, but the truth is no, it hasn't. Sorry, let me read this. The success I've had in this industry, I would love to say it's all been because of me, because I thought of all these things, but the truth is no, it hasn't. I found success because I found mentors, I found people I could learn from, modeled ideas, and learn from that mistake, this mistake, then piece it all together and form something of my own that was drawn from many, many different sources through my experience. Okay. You can do the exact same thing to build your own business, and eventually, if you work hard enough, you get to 8 figures. Well, if you do some simple stuff, you could get 1,000 a month. So let's sum it up. If you want to join the 8-figure club, number 1, build and nurture your list. Number 2, get good at influencing other people. 3, you should be marketing constantly, consistently, and persistently. Host webinars and live events. Get good at video marketing. Video marketing, once you get started and going, piece of cake. Find a mentor to cut your learning curve. Ding dong, right here. And that's basically that. Okay, and then he talks about how to make it happen. Right. Well, I'm doing something that he taught me, and I can help you follow what he's taught me and what I should have done 4 years ago. But I had to learn. I had to learn to make the mistakes. I had to make the mistakes to learn. Right. That's it. That's a bit of a long video, but well worth it. So, if you want to know how to get to the kind of figures he's talking about, which is what I am doing, talk to me, because I'm in what I think is probably one of the best real, legal, ethical businesses on the internet. And all you have to do is drive traffic. Drive traffic. That's all you got to do. I'll see you guys. Where's the video? There we go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.